Tara Reid was invited to speak on 60 Minutes. Not 60 Minutes in America, 60 Minutes in Australia. Now, last time I checked, Joe Biden's not running for president in Australia, but you got to give credit to the Australian media. They're really quite good, as opposed to the American media, which is clearly protecting Joe Biden. Joe Biden is now being portrayed as this righteous individual who follows the social distancing and does this, that, and the other, versus this brute and bully, Donald Trump. Well, let's take a look at what took place on 60 Minutes on Australia, because I guess this is going to be the only place in America that's going to take a very, very close look at it. Not a hit and run look, a close look at it. So let's get started. Go.
I worked my whole life to empower women. I've worked my whole life to prevent abuse.
You saw him up close as a politician.
Correct.
What kind of political operator is he?
The kind where he smiles, it's like a wolf in sheep's clothing, right?
Here I am in the Senate office. Hi,
Long before Joe Biden was a household name across America,
and here's my desk.
Tara Reid worked in his Senate office in the early 90s.
Here's a good picture of Senator Biden.
It was her dream job. She hoped it was the start of a long career in politics.
He was a political hero of mine because I bought into the image. And I really believed he was someone to not only admire, but also I wanted to be like him. Like I had hoped to be maybe a senator or a congressperson someday.
And here's the view from my window.
You sound really happy.
Yeah.
There is my computer. And there's my posters.
I was such like a little puppy, like so eager and happy. Yeah.
Tara says it wasn't long, though, before her political hero turned into a predator.
He would just put his hands on me. He would, whenever there was a meeting or if I would see him, usually he'd put his hand on his shoulder and then he'd run his fingers up underneath my hair, on my neck, and things like that. And I had never experienced that with a boss.
Now, let's stop there. We've had many, many women come forward and say exactly the same thing now. And we've even seen many of these women on video. How he touches women, he touches their neck, touches their cheeks, touches their hair, touches their back, their shoulders. And by the way, young women, middle-aged women, and older women, it doesn't seem to matter. Go ahead.
And I didn't know him. It's not like there was like small talk, like where we would, you know what I'm saying? There was no reciprocal relationship or flirtation. There was nothing like that. So it was just very much him coming into a room, putting his hand on me or whatever.
Did you ever tell him, don't do that to me?
No. I was too scared to say that. I didn't say anything.
Did he touch other women?
Yeah. He just didn't, he seemed to lack boundaries with women.
Some might try to pass the behaviour off as a sign of the times.
Reid was among several women who said Biden had touched them inappropriately.
It's now threatened to undermine his bid for the White House.
No, that ain't right, man. That ain't right.
But it's a pattern of behaviour that remains today.
Those Joe Biden shoulder massages, they're like magic. You should try one. Oh, you have?
Joe Biden recently vowed to be more mindful of personal space after 7 women came forward with claims of inappropriate touching.
I hear what they're saying. I understand it. And I'll be much more mindful. But I'll always believe governing, quite frankly, life for that matter, is about connecting.
You know, this is what's amazing. He's been told how to try and talk his way out of it. He's creating a different narrative about connecting, and he's a people person, and he's a toucher, and so forth and so on. Now, we've come across people like that, but you don't basically molest somebody. You don't fondle somebody. That's not a people person. That's a pervert. Go.
But what Tara Reid claims happened 27 years ago in an open corridor of the Senate is much worse.
So we were alone in this corridor and he said my name, and then the next thing I knew, he pushed me and up against the wall. He kind of moved his body towards me, and then he used his knee to separate my legs. He said, he said, I want to f you.
Jeez.
And he was whispering in my ear and he was kissing me and I was trying to get away from him. And then when I pulled away,
You what?
he had taken his hands and put them down my skirt and taken one hand and penetrated me with his fingers. And when I pulled away, he pulled back and he looked at me like kind of almost annoyed. And he said, "Come on, man, I heard you liked me." And that's when I could see that he was angry and he put his finger kind of towards my face and he said, "You know, you're nothing to me. You're nothing."
Now let's just stop there. You have an individual who comes forward who's very credible, who's a Democrat, who's a liberal, who works for the senator. She has no axe to grind. She's not going to make any money. None of that going on. And her allegation is grotesque. He raped her. What she discussed there is rape. That's what it's called. It's assault, yes, but it's rape. Joe Biden has never been seriously questioned about this. He's had a few friendly reporters, but he hasn't been pressed hard. Even in the last debate, it didn't come up. The President of the United States has had allegations chasing him from day one. But this is not about Trump. This is about Biden. Biden, who's being portrayed by the Praetorian Guard Democrat Party media as a stand-up guy, as a family guy. He brings up his son, Beau, never brings up his son, Hunter. Joe Biden has a past. There are issues related to Joe Biden. And we, the American people, have a right to know about them, particularly when this young lady has the bravery and the courage to come forward and speak like this before Election Day. Even though people are voting early, we have a right to have some answers before Election Day. And it is shocking to me that we have to go to an Australian magazine program, 60 Minutes in Australia, not 60 Minutes in America, to get the facts, or at least to get the specifics from the victim. CNN has no interest in this. MSNBC has no interest. Quite frankly, I'm not aware of anybody has any interest in this.